happens in the NFL. That's why if you just hang around, unlike the Cowboys, who you hit them on the chin, they fold, you just got to hang around like Atlanta did last Monday. You got to hang around like Philadelphia did with the Saints. You got to hang around like the Rams did. They were down 21-7, 24-14, and they just kept fighting and fighting and fighting. But my big takeaway on this, and it's like a $400 million takeaway, is I finally get Brock Purdy. He's never going to be the biggest or most impressive, but mobility, he's more of an athlete than I give him credit for. Their special teams lost that game. Kyle Shanahan, this team had no focus late. Special teams, the Rams take it seriously, and the Niners don't seem to, and that was the difference in the game. But there was no CMC, no Christian McCaffrey, no Debo, no Kittle, no problem. Jawan Jennings, who, by the way, is the best number 3 receiver on the planet. I love this kid. And he is – Brandon Ayuk spent the entire offseason complaining about not getting paid when he had a year left on his contract. He now is a non-factor. Jennings is a much better player, or at least right now more valuable and more aligned with Brock Purdy. But they're going to have to make a decision in a year on Brock Purdy, and you're not going to pay him $60 million a year, and I don't think he would demand that. But the kid can play. What do you want to say? He's smart. He's accurate. He moves much better than I gave him credit for. Bo Nix in Denver, same thing. You're like, this kid moves. This kid moves really well. He moves around the field well. And here's the thing, is that Shanahan, he gets these leads. This is Kyle's. This is no longer a trend. This is kind of reality. In big games, Kyle gets these leads, and I think a lot of it is he is so good on the script. He's got that play sheet, and that's his play sheet. That's his Bible, and Kyle's great at it. But that team lost focus. The Rams' culture with McVay is outstanding. There is just a ton of fight. It's their biggest rival. SoFi was 60 to 65% Niner fans. It was an incredible environment, and I thought Brock Purdy his team let him down. We've always wondered if Brock Purdy is like the liability. No. It was the coach. They had 111 yards and penalties. It was Ronnie Bell dropping a ball. It was special teams. That's Brock Purdy. His team let him down. He and Jennings carried the team. And yes, some of it's scripted. They got a big lead. Kyle's teams tend to get leads. But, I mean, I could pay him now. I'd be okay with it. I don't want to pay him Josh Allen money. I'd pay him. He's never going to be the biggest, the strongest. Kid can play. Here's Kyle after.
It seemed like Brock played his ass off from what I saw. He made a bunch of big plays. He took some good shots down the field. When stuff wasn't there, he did a hell of a job scrambling, making some off-schedule plays. And from what I saw, I thought he played his ass off.
Okay, let's talk Kansas City. I'll save this. I saved it until now. Listen, we live in a country where people now deny elections unless their side wins. Let's not become that in sports. Every time you lose, you're going to blame the officials. Listen, I remember, and I'm from the Pacific Northwest, the Legion of Boom. That defense was so young and so fast and so aggressive with Pete Carroll, they did get away with more penalties. You can't call everything. And every hit felt like it was a half second late. But it's like you can't call everything. There is value in just being super aggressive. Aggressive wins in business. It wins in football. Kansas City has got a sensationally fast, twitchy, young, aggressive defense. They push, they pull. It's the old Belichick trick. If Belichick's Patriots were facing a team with white jerseys, he would have his DBs wear white gloves so they could grab and clutch more, and officials were fooled and manipulated and couldn't see it. That's part of the league. And I just think Kansas City's defense gets away with more. It is so good situationally. And when you combine that with Steve Spagnuolo is the most aggressive defensive coordinator, so you have this young, hyper-speed defense. Maybe it's not going to have a nickname like Legion of Boom, but what's funny about this and what should terrify the league is Mahomes isn't playing worth a darn. He's got 5 TDs and 4 picks, and they're 3-0. In fact, this year, he has his worst passing yards a game, the fewest passing TDs, his passer ratings in the 80s. And they're totally comfortable playing games like this. It really feels like New England. When we first watched this dynasty, it was high-flying and fastest guy in the world and the cheetah on the sidelines. And New England, brilliant coach in his prime, or brilliant coach, older brilliant coach, best quarterback in the game. And there were the Randy Moss years when New England was offense over defense. And there was the Tyreek Hill years and the early years, but this is the Patriots. Best coach, best quarterback, hyper-aggressive defense, totally comfortable in close games late. This is what the Chiefs do. And they do it better than anybody. They love close games. They feast on close games. They're situationally smarter and better than everybody else. Between Reed and Mahomes and Kelsey and Steve Spagnuolo. I mean, when that got down to 4th and 1 for Atlanta, and they're going to go wide on that, you're like, yeah, it's not going to work. That's not going to work. You're not going to run outside on these guys when they stack the box. And they're not playing particularly well on offense. But I'm over the complaining about the officials. When I lived in Connecticut, that's what I heard for 10 years on the Patriots, and they were just smarter than everybody. They were just smarter. They had the best quarterback and the best coach and situational guys, the best culture. I have friends who practiced or played with New England. They're like, we're just smarter than people. We love close games. We watch teams fold. We don't, and that's Kansas City. And you can't call for everything. I mean, law enforcement doesn't give everybody that speeds a ticket, right? Like you're on the freeway. Everybody speeds on the freeway. Who's egregiously going to? If you're going 90 on the freeway, you get a ticket. If you're going 73, not that I ever have, you're not getting one. I mean, if your hand's here and your push here and everybody's doing it, they're not going to throw 9 flags. There's only so many officials. The NFL wants a fast pace to the game. Well, Colin, what are you saying? I'm saying young, fast aggression, Legion of Boom. There's an advantage. I mean, you look at Georgia play football last couple of years. You don't think the refs are seeing everything? Every hit feels like it's just a tad late. Going to call 14 of those? Yeah, he probably called 2. Here was Mahomes on another close win.
I feel like I haven't played very well, and that's not a stats thing. I just feel like I'm missing opportunities whenever they're out there and not throwing the ball in the exact spot I want it to be at. So it's about me getting back to my fundamentals, putting our guys in the right position, and then we got to execute at a higher level offensively. If teams are going to make us drive the field, we have to prove that we're able to do that, and I'm sure we'll get a lot of the same this next week with the Chargers.
It didn't start like this is a dynasty, but it feels like the red-jerseyed Midwest version of New England. Coach, quarterback, close games, situationally brilliant. That's what it feels like. And, I mean, listen, I didn't like Atlanta's play calling. You have a great field goal kicker. I would have kicked a field goal the first time he got down there. Take the points. Not everybody's a math major. Stop trying to figure out the analytics. Kick the ball, take the points, get it back. I didn't like that at all. And I didn't love the play calling late either. But that ball in the end zone, it's like, you can keep blaming the officials. This team wins all these close games. New England won seemingly all those close games. I don't think it's refs. If the refs wanted to control the league, this weekend from Thursday to yesterday wouldn't be the first time I can remember both New York teams playing well. That's the first time. You know, look who's good in the league. Kansas City, Cincinnati, Baltimore, Green Bay, all these small markets. Yeah, Cowboys would actually win playoff games. I know you're convinced the league is like, we got to make Kansas City the beacon of greatness in the league. Or let's go to the Northeast to a baseball town in Boston, a provincial baseball town. That's the hub of activity. It's like sometimes people are better, aggressive wins. Kansas City's fast and aggressive. I'm just like rinse and repeat. I've seen this before. They win a close game, home or away. Chill out. Atlanta's an okay team. You saw last night Atlanta had 2 opportunities knocking at the door to beat the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL. Atlanta's a good team. I don't think they're as good as Kansas City or your top 4 or 5 teams in the league, but they're a good team. So there's no shame in losing at the very last drive to Atlanta. But yesterday, I felt good about Philadelphia last week losing. This morning, I don't feel very good about Philadelphia, and they won. I've defended Jalen Hurts. He's a small quarterback, like a Tua, like a Russell Wilson. Smaller quarterbacks don't tend to see the middle of the field as well because the offensive linemen are 6'5" and 6'6". And we don't love the head coach, Nick Sirianni. That's true. But we have to be honest about this. A lot of coaches lose offensive coordinators. McVay loses them, lost Kevin O'Connell. Andy Reid's lost good offensive coordinators. Shanahan, you don't see a huge effect. Since Shane Steichen has left, Jalen Hurts has 26 picks and 19 interceptions. Since he's lost Shane Steichen, he has the most giveaways in the league, 26. And I defend him. You can't win that way. Well, I mean, Philadelphia did. They are a turnover mess. This is no longer a snapshot.